Okay, so I'm not really sure how am I going to make this video. I just want to honestly tell you guys that this is going to be, without question, the most important and special video that I ever did here on the Retro Raider Show. As you can see, we are celebrating. We are celebrating here today the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. Now, if you follow my channel, you already know this, but if you don't, Kingdom Hearts is, without question, my favorite video game of all time. Not only that, but it is the most important video game of all time. Not only that, but this game was a very important part of my teenage days. And it really, really helped me in a very, very hard and troubling time on my life. Now, again, I usually don't go that personal here on the show. This show is mainly me talking about video games. You know, I make game reviews. I do share my video game memories, etc. But I really don't like to delve into the personal stuff. But I really can't avoid that with Kingdom Hearts here. So let me warn you that this is going to be a very different video from the stuff that I usually do here. It's probably going to be long, I don't know. It's going to be a rambling video, so if that's not your cup of tea, it is okay. I promise that I won't cry. I won't cry, but I just have to make this video. So let's do it. Greetings, gamers, and welcome to a very special episode here on the Retro Raider Show. Now, how am I going to start this? Kingdom Hearts. Without question, my favorite video game of all time. And again, this is not going to be that video where I'm going to explain you what Kingdom Hearts is all about, what do I like about the mechanics of the game, and by any means, this is not a perfect game, okay? And I'm specifically addressing the first Kingdom Hearts, okay? The first game, the original game, released in 2002. I'm not going to talk about the series or the story arc, nothing like that. Just this specific game. So let's go back into 2001, more or less. So Johnny here, 2001, late 2001. I was 13 years old back then. And I've always been a gamer, you know, I've always enjoyed video games. Gaming has always been one of my biggest and most important passions. Now, in 2001, you know, gaming news, this was during the PS2 era. The PlayStation 2 was my main system to go back then. And we got gaming news through the internet, of course. You know, the internet was already established, like, you know, forums and gaming websites, stuff like that. Although we're talking about pre-YouTube here. There was a TV show here in Portugal. I've already mentioned this TV show a lot of times. Templo dos Jogos. I'm pretty sure that if you're over 30 here, and if you're from Portugal, I'm pretty sure that you remember Templo dos Jogos. So, way back in 2001, this was probably one of the last episodes of the TV show. Now, again, we got our news back then through, you know, forums, gaming websites, yes, but mostly through, you know, gaming magazines and TV shows like Templo dos Jogos. And I totally remembered that they announced, not announced, it was more of a tease. It was like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes piece on Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, they announced the game there. And it definitely got my attention. Squaresoft right there. The good old Squaresoft, you know, before Square Enix. I've always been a huge fan of Squaresoft, due to mainly Final Fantasy, of course. And this immediately grabbed my attention. But it was very bizarre because I thought that this was a Final Fantasy game, but then I started to see Disney characters like Goofy and Donald. And they explained on that piece, this is a partnership between Squaresoft and Disney. Like pretty much everybody back then, I was very confused. Very, very confused. And me and my friends, I didn't have a lot of friends back then, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Me and my small group of friends, you know, we were the geeky kids, you know, the Dungeons and Dragons kids, the fantasy kids, Magic the Gathering, and video game geeks, you know, gamers. Gaming was not popular back then, let me tell you that. But they were all very confused like me, and they just didn't care about Kingdom Hearts at all. But I was very interested. and I followed the news for during the that following year. Now, this was my very first contact with Kingdom Hearts. The very first time that I've learned anything related to this weird yet perfect combination between Squaresoft and Disney. Now, about me, and this is where we start to get into the personal stuff, because I have to tell two different stories here. The first one, again, how I got to know Kingdom Hearts, and then where I was at that time, okay? And let me just say this. I don't pity myself, and I don't take anything for granted. Good things happen to all of us, and bad things happen to all of us, right? We all have been through a hard time. But sometimes there's that point in our life which is the toughest one. Maybe we have several times like that. And I've had a pretty perfect childhood. Until I was 12, 13. I had a very strong and loved family. We were very united, and back then I lived with both my parents, mom and dad, and also my grandmother, my mother's mom. I had friends, I was a happy kid, I had everything that I needed. It was, again, pretty much the perfect childhood. Although there's this thing going on in my family, I never really fully understand if it is something that it carries on from family member, but my family has always suffered some mental issues regarding to depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. And back then, again, late 2001, both my parents entered on a very serious and profound depression. If you never lived with depression, if you never experienced depression or anxiety, or if you never seen that, through a friend or a family member, then there's a good chance that you don't know what this disease is. But let me tell you that it's very serious, it's very painful. It's something that I really don't wish to anybody. Again, I'm not going to jump into the really personal details, okay? Because it's my personal stuff, it's my family stuff. But I lived through that at a very young age, and it was very confusing to me because I was getting into my teens, right? I was 13. And it's that point in life where your personality starts to change, or starts to be what you are going to be as an adult. So it's definitely a time where you need friends, you need your family members, right? And I felt kind of alone. Not that my family put me on the side, but they were dealing with serious problems back then. So both my parents, again, due to personal and health issues, they had to quit their jobs, and bless them, they just rise up after that, and they built their own business, which they still run to this very day. So again, I was never left with my needs, okay? So they got that taken care of, but again, it was very hard. On top of that, my grandmother, who's not among us anymore now, we find out on the same year or around that time that she had leukemia. Me in school, I was in my 8th grade, and I failed. I failed the 8th grade, and I got into a new class that I really hated. And when you fail a year during those at that age, most of the friends that I had from my previous class, I pretty much lost contact with all of them. The fewer ones remain friends, but I didn't have a lot of friends back then. I just hated the new class. I was getting into trouble all the time. I was angry. I was in pain. So yeah, I was pretty much alone. I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings. So I kind of closed myself on my little own world. At that time, that's when I got into music. I've always loved heavy metal, rock, and music in general, but I started to learn how to play the guitar. I also started to go to concerts, to live shows with a couple of friends. But that to me was more of not a hobby, but something that I did just to hang out with friends. Even with playing guitar, I've always played with friends and in bands and rehearsals and stuff like that. Not only years after that, that's when I really started to get into songwriting. but I'm diversing here. So my main hobbies were, without question, music or guitar and video games. And within video games, I've always been a huge fan and very passionate for RPGs. And this was really that time when I was 12, 13 that I started to get really into role-playing games, and especially Japanese role-playing games. I don't know, I've always enjoyed the idea of either creating your avatar, your character, in a world, right, and develop your story, or to portray a character and live that story, that character's story, in this universe, in this plot. I played a lot of games, platforming games, fighting games, arcade games, but it was different. RPGs was different because it was really an escape for me. So when I was playing an RPG, I was not me. I was not João or Johnny. I was that character. I was that character in the game. I was living that or those characters' problems, stories, issues, obstacles, and I still do that. Which again, I don't take it from granted, but it feels really good. The fact that I can really live these games and experiencing them, that way. So we enter 2002. New class, I hated it. I hated school. Things at home were tough. Was really really tough. So I was kind of alone with my guitar and my video games. Again, I don't want to sound like my parents weren't there or my family wasn't there if I needed them. They were, but again, they were in serious mental pain. So going back to Kingdom Hearts, this game has always been on my mind, and we got to around March, a little bit after March, maybe April, May. And around my birthday, which is in May, I was looking for this game because I didn't know if the game was already out or not, and it was in Japan, which is not this version right here. This is actually a Japanese version of the game, but this came out later on. This is the final mix version, not virgin. Version of the game. So yeah, I got the news that the game has already been released in Japan, but not here in Europe. So this one, and this back then was an exclusive for the PS2, the European version of Kingdom Hearts, was set to be released around November. And I thought, perfect, this is going to be the perfect Christmas gift, because back then, again, I was 13, back then I was already 14. I turned 14 in 2002, and this is going to be important for the story. 14 years old, I didn't have a job, right? So it was not like I was having video games when they were released. That didn't happen for me. Getting games day one, that didn't happen. As a matter of fact, it almost never happened that I got the games the year they were released. With lucky, I would get a video game for my birthday and a video game or two for Christmas, and that was it. But I asked my parents, right there, this is the game that I want for Christmas. This is the only thing that I want for Christmas. Again, I still didn't know what Kingdom Hearts was all about. I knew that it was going to be an action RPG by Squaresoft, yes. But the Disney thing, it also grabbed my attention. And I knew immediately. I knew that either this game is going to be brilliant or is going to flop. Because Square and Disney, these are two gargantuan names, and Disney also played a huge part in my childhood. So it was the only thing that I wanted. I wanted to play this game so bad. So Christmas came. Christmas 2002. My family always loved Christmas. They still do. We still celebrate Christmas. Not that much for the religious aspect. I mean, my family is, Catholic. I don't care about that. But I like the fact that we can celebrate this time of the year and just to celebrate family and life. That Christmas, though, was a little bit of a sad Christmas due to, the situation that I already told you. Christmas at my parents' house is 3 days, pretty much. So we have Christmas Eve, like everybody else, where we have dinner with the family. Then we have Christmas Day. That's when we open the presents, still to this day. Christmas morning. We also spend the day with the family, and then 26 we repeat all over again, but this time with the family and the family friends. So I remember Christmas where it was like, 30 people on my parents' apartment. It was awesome and crazy at the same time. Now, I've always spent Christmas Eve with my family, of course. 25th in the morning, I opened the presents, but my father never really let me to enjoy the presents because he said, well, you can do it tomorrow on 26th. 25th, Christmas Day, you're going to spend with the family. And I was okay with that. But this Christmas, the Christmas of 2002, was different. And after the family got out, so during the evening, my father did something very cool that and I didn't ask him to. He just did that. We had our PlayStation on another room on a small TV, a TV that I still have right there, a small Sony Triniton TV. But my father grabbed the PlayStation 2 and put it on the living room on the big TV. And he said, well, just go enjoy your game. I know that you're very eager to play this game. Just enjoy your game. And I did. And it was still to this day, that's one of the most beautiful gaming memories that I have related to gaming. So I just grabbed this. And even the cover just got my full attention. This glossy cover. Open it up, read the manual. And something very interesting here. This manual, it has a part in Portuguese. Let me just grab that. I started to browse through it to see the controllers. Back then, manuals were important. And we started to see this, the main characters of the game, right? And Sora, as you can see right here, the main character, is 14 years old. The same age that I had the same age as Sora. I was 14 when I played Kingdom Hearts. So I hooked up the PlayStation 2. Everybody went to bed. My grandmother was in her bedroom. My parents went to bed a little bit earlier than usual for Christmas. And I just stayed up all night playing Kingdom Hearts. The first moment on the menu screen, when I start to hear the music, Dearly Beloved, it was one of those moments I just... it was hyped, mixed with feelings. I literally just put the controller aside and listened to the music. Still to this day, that song makes me cry. It's so emotional. It's so, I don't know, it's so deep. It's so so real, so honest. I really can't explain this. It's one of those things. It's the melody of the game. And for me, in a very magical way, let's call it this way, Dearly Beloved, that melody for me sums Kingdom Hearts as a whole. And it was so special. It was so big. It is a moment that really struck something in me. Because aside from everything that was going on with my family and those very troubled and hard times, for that night it felt like everything was okay. It felt like everything was perfect. I was safe. I had my family with me. It was Christmas, which is my favorite time of the year. And I was getting introduced to this beautiful game, Kingdom Hearts. If you played the game, if you played Kingdom Hearts, I was on the Destiny Islands for, I don't know, 6 hours, more or less, until I got to Traverse Town. And that was my first run, my first play time with the Kingdom Hearts. It all makes sense. It all really made sense to me. I love it. I love the combination with the Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters. And again, I'm not going to delve into the mechanics of the game. This is not a review of Kingdom Hearts or the series, nothing like that. Again, the point of this video is just what this game means to me. I spent the next year, 2003, just fully experienced Kingdom Hearts. And I've always had, more than one game at a time to play, like a backup, if you will. And because back then, since I didn't receive a lot of games, I was playing and replaying the games all over again. But I remember that for a very long time I only played Kingdom Hearts. Not only I loved the game for what the game is, the story, the characters, the gameplay, but each time that I came back from school or early in the morning during the weekends, each time that I was playing Kingdom Hearts, I left my problems and issues and sadness outside of the game. I was helping these characters. I was in the game. That's how I felt. and I felt comfortable playing the game. It was really something that I can really explain. It was nostalgic. It was mainly to Disney, of course, and Final Fantasy. But when I was playing Kingdom Hearts, I left all my problems outside of the game. I used to dream with Kingdom Hearts. I used to dream that I was a friend of Sora, Rico, and Kairi, because I think that the story is very complex. Okay, if we're talking about the whole franchise, I mean, Kingdom Hearts is really complex here, and sometimes it doesn't make that much sense. But I think that the main focus of the story, or the message, it's about friendship, which at that time was something that I was lacking. I didn't have a lot of support or friends. So this game, as much lame as this is going to sound, this game was my friends. It really was, and I totally relate to Sora. And I mean, this is really the reason why Kingdom Hearts is my favorite video game of all time. Not only because I love the franchise, not only because I grew up with Disney, not only because I love Final Fantasy, and I do love the game for what it is, but it was that turning point where gaming stopped being just a hobby, something that I did for entertainment, and became something that I fell in love with. That was the time when gaming became a passion for me. And I think that really sums it up the video, guys. Again, I didn't plan this. I just knew that I had to make this video, of course, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of my favorite video game of all time, even though I only played it in December, so it's going to turn 20 for me and Christmas this year. But of course that I had to make this video because I think that if you're like me, if you're a gamer, no matter if you're a collector or anything like that, but if you like video games in general, I'm pretty sure that you have that game. That game that made a huge impact on your life. And it doesn't matter if it is the best game ever or not. It doesn't even matter if people like the game or not. What it matters is what that game meant or means to you. So yeah, I made this video for myself. This video is really for myself and as a tribute to this beautiful game. And I think that I'm going to stop right here. I think that I'm just going to leave it like that. I also want to say this. I've mentioned this in previous videos. If you follow my channel, you already know. I'm writing a book with chronicles of video games, you know, like my video game memories. And of course that there's a chapter that only dedicated to Kingdom Hearts. And I'm going to explain this story with all of the details, all of the personal or more personal stuff. But yeah, once again, I know that I'm rambling here. I had to make this video, so it is done. And I really don't want to cry in front of the camera, but it is done. Happy birthday, Kingdom Hearts. So guys, from you, what do I want? I want to thank you. I want to thank you guys for all of your amazing support. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you watched the whole thing, kudos for you. I know that this was a different video from the stuff that I usually do. But again, I know that I'm repeating myself here, but I had to do it. But I would like to hear from you guys, okay? I would like to hear from you on the comment section. Do you enjoy Kingdom Hearts? Have you played Kingdom Hearts? Did you play the original Kingdom Hearts back in the day? And most importantly, please share a story, share a memory, or just the name of a game. It doesn't matter if it is Kingdom Hearts or not. Mention a game that really helped you in a time of need. So share your thoughts down below. This concludes the video, guys. I hope that in 20 years from now, all of us can be here on the internet, on YouTube, or in, I don't know, other platform celebrating the 40th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. I mean, what a story, and what a game. And once again, I want to thank you all. Guys, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, be happy, and game a lot. I'll catch you guys on the next video.